recently, the newest blog post and/or update about the new RimWorld DLC Odyssey has been released. I think that was on Friday, and I was out of town, unfortunately, when it happened. Sorry about that, but today we'll be diving right on in. So, to start us off here, it's the Grav Ship, your traveling base, as we knew that it would be. Of course, with the Grav Ships, we'll be able to move around the planet with them. It does say, though, that it starts when a Grav engine falls from the sky. Still functional despite the crash, along with some salvaged Gravlight panels. You've got the beginnings of your first Grav Ship. So, we'll take a look here. So, this is the engine. Now, something I find interesting, maybe it will be addressed later on, but based on this being the first post, I suppose, or the first little bit about it, I have a feeling it won't. It seems like we might not be able to research this engine for ourselves, possibly. I could be wrong, obviously, of course, but based on this, it looks like it's going to be part of a quest line, similar to some other things that we see in DLCs that you can only accomplish when things fall from the sky, as is tradition by this point. They also give a bit of a description here about your first Grav ship, I suppose, so it's a smaller one with Gravlight panels, the engine placed at the center, a few thrusters, chem fuel tanks, and a pilot's console. Add some basic rooms, barracks, kitchen, storage, yada yada yada. So it does say, though, the moment you take off, the world opens up. And so we see one of the very first ships here, and it does look pretty cool, of course. It's very interesting and cool seeing this in the vanilla. I realize it's not the base game. Everybody's always calling me out in the comments. I know it's not vanilla, but basically I'm just saying that because it's also not modded, right? But yeah, they give us a cool little depiction here of someone's first ship. I find these interesting as well. These look to be statues. I suppose these are being added in. I haven't read over what's being added in 1.6, except for their first blog post. I've mostly just been keeping up with the DLC. So it does look like, though, we're going to have some statues, too, with that, possibly. But yeah, it's very cool seeing this in the vanilla game, even with the DLC. I like the engines. I think that they're very vanilla RimWorld-esque looking, so that all fits together quite well. Travel all over the planet, explore exotic biomes, discover new landmarks, and chase quests around the continents or cross continents, or set your own goals. Circumnavigate the globe in 100 days, recruit a team entirely made up of kidnapped enemies, collect one of every new animal, or build a gunship covered in turrets. I like that they're kind of just giving fuel to the fire for content creators, huh? I could see some of us doing all of this, of course. So it looks like whenever we're ready, we'll just be able to lift off. The entire colony will be able to come with us. Very, very cool what we expected from the Grav ships, just as we had all hoped. We'll actually be able to use these, and basically just as they had explained originally, we'll be able to use these ships to actually travel anywhere we like, anytime that we like, assuming that we have enough fuel, of course. So eventually as well, you'll want more space. That's when you start hunting for Grav cores. Rare Grav tech you can only find in dangerous places. You'll need to search through insect mega hives, trap-filled ruins, and frozen space debris in low orbit, patrolled by human scavengers and killer Mechonoids. So it looks like with these Grav cores we'll be able to build Grav ship extenders, so the ship can support more substructure. So at first we're only going to be able to build them quite small. As it stated earlier, you start with a smaller ship, so that makes even more sense. It looks like we're going to have, let's see, GravCore power cells, which are an advanced power solution that passively draws energy from the ship's gravitational field. So a new way to go about generating power that might be very useful if you end up using that for a colony in general, even if you're staying in one place on the planet's surface. We can also create signal jammers, which allow us to slip past space defense systems and land on protected orbital platforms. Some upgrades can only be acquired as rewards from grateful allied factions, ancient structures, and space wrecks. A fuel optimizer gets you more trips out of your chem fuel before refueling. The Grav ship's shield generator creates a massive temporary shield around your ship, which can help you survive pirate drop pod ambushes. Activate it mid-raid and enjoy the protection it gives your colonist against enemy gunfire, and a pilot sub-persona core provides a low-grade AI that reduces the chances of your pilot doing an oopsie while flying. So basically, we kind of get a, I don't want to say dumb AI, but not exactly a Cortana from Halo level AI, right? An intelligent AI like that. And so it looks like it'll be kind of helping us out like an autopilot type of system. As I'm looking through these photos, trying to see which of these little machines might be the dumb AI, I'm guessing it's the thing that is right next to the chair there at the pilot's console, or the thing against the wall, one way or another. It's hard not to talk about Save Our Ship 2 when you're talking about the Grav Ships, of course, because the two are extremely similar. This is basically, I don't want to say basically a vanilla-ish version of Save Our Ship 2. I mean, of course, it adds ships like this, but based on what I've read so far, it seems like Save Our Ship 2 is definitely its own thing in its own right. I mean, obviously, but it seems like, you know, this doesn't completely negate the use of that mod. That mod still has so much to offer, even if we have Grav Ships, of course. But with Save Our Ship 2, of course, you have the AI that you can create, the Form Gel AI. You can actually bring colonists back to life as Form Gel AI, and that doesn't appear to be the case here. It seems more like it's going to be a machine, like almost like a production area or building that you're just going to place down near your pilot console as something like an autopilot. And it looks like Grav Ships are not only our only travel method now, and as some of us might have guessed, it seems like we're going to be able to build our own shuttle. Looks like these are called passenger shuttles. Small, short-range vessels, perfect for rescue missions, trade runs, and quick hops to places your Grav Ship can't go. So maybe like mountainous areas, if you have too big of a Grav Ship and you can't land it there, you could always take your shuttles down. They can be placed on your Grav Ship substructure, so you can fly them, so you can take them with you if you decide to leave a map. Shuttles can also fly into orbit, so that's very interesting. So we actually get our very own shuttles now. This, as far as I can tell, and as far as I'm aware, I'm trying to think, but this is our very first vehicle added to RimWorld by the actual devs and the team that created RimWorld, so that's pretty incredible, a really big milestone, and it also makes me very hopeful for future DLCs and whatnot as well for other vehicles that we might see. And I want to say too, I'm really glad that the shuttles are not just a Grav Ship thing, right? That they're not just like you can only use them if you're using a Grav Ship somehow for whatever reason. It looks like we'll be able to use these just in standard colonies with this DLC too, so that's great. I also just really spotted this gigantic ass bullfrog over here. That's pretty cool. And finally, we're getting into space. I love, yes, we're finally going to space. Something we've all been waiting on for a very long time. So space requires some prep to keep your colonists alive, as one might imagine. Seal your ship with airtight walls to protect your colonists from the vacuum. Set up a life support system, oxygen pumps, heaters, and a stable power supply to keep it all running. Create airlocks by using vac barriers and metal doors, and equip your spacefaring colonists with vac suits and vac suit helmets and other advanced armors. My apologies. So I like that too. So it seems like not only will it be some type of spacesuit like a vac suit or a vac suit helmet, but also advanced armors. Most likely not recon. I don't think recon covers your mouth. So probably like the cataphract armor, stuff like that. They may have also added some new armors as well that can do that and help you survive in space. So as mentioned before, shuttles are also capable of entering orbit, as are transport pods, so it's still accessible without building your Grav Ship, which is also awesome. I think it would suck if it was only limited to the Grav Ship, so I like the idea that you can take a shuttle and go into space, especially since these shuttles are basically the same tech and design as the Shattered Empire, who was once a vast faring space civilization, right? So looks like you'll just have life support, and transport pods are a one-way, so you'll need to find a way back. So basically, if you use a transport pod to drop in on an asteroid, you know, you'll have to be able to build something to get your ass back home. So maybe you take some fuel with you, stuff like that. Really cool, really cool. They also provide us with a photo here of space as well, so we can see many different types of things like asteroids, and also what appear to be maybe some ore-rich asteroids with gold, it looks like, possibly. possibly, or just minerals in general. And we also see plenty of stations and satellites floating around as well. So this is something I think I touched on previously, but I like this edition specifically because, again, most people, I get it if somebody doesn't want to get a certain DLC, but by this point, basically everybody has the royalty DLC, right? I mean, everyone, even console players who maybe seem like or feel like they've been left behind, which I have a lot of empathy for you. I'm very sorry. But, you know, everybody has a royalty, right? And I think that this is a great addition because with the Shattered Empire, they were a shattered empire, right? As I mentioned, a spacefaring civilization across the galaxy, and maybe even the universe in general. So with that, they surely to God would leave behind some debris and things like that. It only makes sense, and I'm glad we're finally getting that. And, you know, not only the Shattered Empire, but the ancients and other human civilizations, right? I don't know. I'm done nerding out about this part. I'm a huge space nerd. I really like it, so yeah. And so they kind of touch on some of these as well, with many different types of orbiting objects to explore. Rare locations, though, require you to build an orbital scanner, which passively detects overhead orbital wrecks, satellites, asteroids, orbital platforms, and mech platforms, which I would think is a good majority of those items there that we're looking at. But alternatively, you can discover new orbital sites by hacking ancient uplink satellite dishes scattered around the planet. So that's really cool too. So even if you're on the surface, you can actually detect some of these orbital places that you can visit and also loot. We do also have information about orbital wrecks, so the history of a planet can be seen in its orbital debris field. So this is touching back on my nerdy lore shit that I was just talking about. I don't know, I love this kind of stuff. Abandoned platforms and space stations, you can search these wrecks for valuable loot if you're willing to fight off rival salvagers. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool the fact that they're adding stuff like this in, where it's like, you know, just a thriving civilization that was once on this planet at one time, and you have like these stations and stuff that would have been in orbit. It's just, it's so cool to add stuff like that to the planets and to the lore of RimWorld with the DLCs. Looks like we also have satellites, so most are unmanned and inhospitable, built for narrow purposes like power collection, surveillance, and orbital weaponry. Landing on one means navigating the narrow bridges and traveling long distances between platforms to scavenge valuable tech, but many are still guarded by automated security systems, locked doors, turrets, and drones. I know it does say that these are inhospitable, but it seems like you could probably turn one of these into your base, right? This DLC is just, it seems like it's adding so much. And speaking of bases, we also have the asteroids here. They may look like empty rocks, but they're packed with value. Many still hold veins of plasteel, uranium, and gold, or remnants of old mining operations that never finished the job. All asteroids are made of vaxstone, a special rock type used to craft vaxstone blocks and valite panels. So we've also, or gravlite panels, sorry. We've also seen some of that, I think, with the ships, with the interesting colors that they have on them, a bit purple, although those might just be painted items made of vaxstone and stuff like that. That might actually be a material that you use on the asteroid itself. That way you have a type of stone instead of a metallic type of resource to build from. And I gotta say, it's really cool also seeing these bases like this in the asteroids, and it just gives me so many ideas, and I can't wait to see what I get to create and also what you guys create in the community. We also have more information about orbital platforms. So these floating platforms are orbital settlements used by trading guilds. Ooh. So they don't appreciate visitors, so landing is considered an act of aggression. Just approaching them safely requires your ship to have a signal jammer aboard to get past the platform's defenses. So we also we get some pretty cool visuals here of these gigantic guns that are part of these bases. Which is really interesting, really cool. So I wonder if this is supposed to be... So it seems like they are the orbital traders that we actually trade with in RimWorld, so it's cool to see them take a more physical form. I don't know exactly that they are the traders, but these are the platforms that they seem to use, and they are heavily defended as well, it would seem. So it looks like we also have Mechonoid platforms, which we've learned a little bit about in the previous blog post. So these Rex promise the the most advanced grav tech and unique treasures, but murderous machines still lurk in the shattered structures. It's a maze of airless hallways crawling with machines, turrets, and sealed doors at every turn, with nowhere to flee except the void of space. So I really like that too, because Mechonoids, since RimWorld's conception, the first release and stuff before all the DLCs, I remember watching, I think it was Inter Elysium. I used to love watching him play RimWorld. It's kind of one of the first people that got me into RimWorld when I seen him. There's a few more, of course, but seeing him take on Mechonoids was always my favorite, because they were just such a looming and dangerous threat. And I just really loved watching how he would deal with him using EMP grenades and stuff like that. And I just always thought that they were so cool and like the ultimate enemy that you would have to fight at some point in RimWorld. So it's kind of cool too, seeing that take shape here with them being the most, or the place where, you know, and the enemy that you fight with the most unique grav tech and treasures and things like that. So it's really cool, kind of sticking with the core theme of RimWorld, at least in my opinion. And it looks like the last thing for us here in this blog post is the Grav Ship scenario. So that's really cool. So Odyssey comes with a new starting scenario designed for experienced players who want to dive straight into Grav Ship gameplay or start a nomadic colony. So you begin with a 3-person crew and a functional Grav Ship. So if you don't want to do any of the scenarios where you're just kind of trying to, you know, work to get it, wait on the quest, whatever, where the grav engine falls from the sky, you can just start with a scenario where you have a functional one. So you're going to be docked at an abandoned orbital relay while salvaging equipment. Your colonists unknowingly activate a Mechonoid beacon. Within moments, a war alert pings across the void, and now the Mechonoids are hunting you. They won't stop until every last member of your crew is dead. To stop them, you must fight and defeat the mech hive itself. And we also kind of have a photo here with the starting scenario. I might do this one. Let me know if you guys would like to see me do this scenario. I've been trying to think of the scenario that I would like to do for the new DLC, and I thought about maybe a volcanic colony, but grav ships are the big bread and butter of this new DLC, right? And I think that this here might be perfect for me to do as my first scenario. I can always do a volcanic colony too next, anytime I want, right? I think the DLC is just going to have so much for us all to do and to play around with. So let me know what you guys would like to see though for my first colony with the new DLC. And it looks like that's all we have for Grav Ships for the time being. It looks like next week, which is actually this week because like I mentioned, I was out of town. I was on a very brief vacation there for about 4 days. Not very brief, it's a pretty long vacation, but yeah, it looks like this week sometime we're getting another blog post, and I will be covering that. But before we go today, I want to mention a few things and just kind of discuss some stuff that I've seen in the comments and with the community as a whole. And I want to kind of give my opinion and get your guys' opinion as well. So I've tried narrating this part a few times here, and I'm not exactly positive how I want to go about doing this, but I'm just going to address like my opinion and what I've seen. So some of the biggest comments that I've seen, or some of the most popular and common, I guess I should say, is people saying, well, all of this is just added by mods. Why would I buy the DLC? Well, let me tell you something. I am going to buy the DLC because this is my job, for one, and two, because the mods are not identical. And to be honest with you, what Odyssey is adding, I think, is going to be a great blend with the mods that we already use. For example, Grav Ships and Save Our Ship 2. Okay, very similar, I get it. They are, but they're not the same. Grav Ships seem like they can only go in a low orbit. They can't leave the planet. Save Our Ship 2 can. They add dumb AI. It almost seems like Save Our Ship Light, but good in its own regard and in its own way, right? You can have both and blend them together. Just my opinion. I think they'll go great together, having a small Grav Ship to trot around the planet anywhere you so choose, and having a great big interstellar frigate in orbit. Holy shit, I think that's going to be great, especially with the fact that performance in 1.6 is supposed to be better. I forgot what the system is, but it's going to make the colonies run smoother, especially late game. Having 2 of them like that, oh, no brainer. It's going to all be great. Basically though, the entire conversation that I've been seeing some people have is people are saying, well, I could just use mods instead of getting the Odyssey DLC and get basically the same result. If you feel that way, do that. There's so many mods. We have an amazing modding community, the greatest modding community, and I don't say that lightly. We have some of the most passionate and creative modders on, or in any community, right? RimWorld's modding community is absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it, and it's perfect. I mean, genuinely, it's perfect. Everyone's great, everyone's so friendly, everyone's awesome. So yeah, I mean, if you want to do that instead of getting Odyssey, do that. Who cares, man? Just just do that. That's fine. I can kind of understand the criticism that's levied at the new DLC, saying that, you know, I can find all this with mods and stuff, but basically, I mean, with any of the DLCs, any of the versions of RimWorld, you're gonna find these amazing mods that get pretty close to what the DLCs are. That's just how it is. We have amazing modders and an amazing modding community, so I understand the criticism, but you could literally say that about any past version of RimWorld before any of the DLCs. I mean, you could get pretty darn close to what the DLC's at. And again, in my opinion, I mean, that's fine. That's completely fine. But I am getting Odyssey. I am going to play Odyssey because I feel like it's different enough from these mods, and it is, you know, its own thing. I would never tell you to buy it if you don't want to buy it. I really, you know, I don't mind. I don't care. Don't buy it then. I'm not paid by Tynan. I'm not paid by Ludion. I make my living off of their work, the amazing game that we all love known as RimWorld, and of course the DLC's part of it, but nobody's paying me. Nobody, you know, I glaze this new DLC coming out because I want to, and because I like it, and because I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. Yeah, sure, you know, I make my living off of it, but I would never tell you to buy it just because, right? If you don't like it, if you don't think you're going to like it, give it some time, watch some people play it, or don't. Do whatever you think is best for you, but if you're skeptical, I would just encourage you to check people out. Check myself out if you want to. Obviously, I'm going to promote myself, but you find whoever's best for you. Watch them play Odyssey. Look at these blog posts. Listen to people talk about them. And determine for yourself whether or not you think you're going to like it. Wait for it to go on sale, right? I mean, I get it, but also, you know, do what is best for you. Anyways, though, yeah, just wanted to give my 2 cents on what I've seen. A lot of the conversation around the new DLC is, you know, I could get all this from mods. I get it, sure, you could. Well, if you feel that way, you know, don't get the DLC, who cares? But for the rest of us who feel that it is different enough from the mods that we've been using, that we've seen, we're probably going to get it, right? I see both sides of the argument, but personally, I fall on the latter side. I'm getting it because I think it's all going to go really well and go together with the current mods that we're using because it's different enough and that we can blend them all together. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Be sure to voice your opinion, how you feel about it, and make sure you're being nice to each other. Of course, that is the most important thing, but I'd love to see opposing sides of the argument and how we all feel about it if you so choose to let me know. But I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.